First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Yahweh is who this world ignorantly calls God. Yahweh Shai is who this world ignorantly calls Jesus. Ba'ashem means in the name, Rakah means spirit, and Kodash means holy. And that's on the Paleo Hebrew. Also to give double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. In today's scripture, I wanted to go into how the men of the Lord will soon be a rare commodity on this earth. Okay, men of the Lord will soon be a rare commodity on this earth. And, this is a very important topic because it goes into showing how, the kingdom of heaven, slowly but surely, is coming back in several ways. And one of the ways that it's coming back is by the way of the righteous order being established. We're going into the Most High Yahweh, His Son Yahweh Shai, the man under Yahweh Shai, and the woman under the man. And that is a structure that we haven't seen for a long time, globally. Okay? Here in the West, they do it completely backward. They tell you that, the woman is above the man. And a lot of women are out here talking about how I can talk to God directly and I don't need to go through the Messiah. Just completely out of their minds. So, what ultimately is coming is a big fix, and it's going to start when everything hits the fan. Okay, that's when everybody's going to go back to their natural order. Okay, women being women and men being men. Because these women are going to realize that they can't fend for themselves, they can't defend themselves, and ultimately they can't compete against the man. So, one scripture that comes to mind as soon as I was saying those words is in Micah. Micah chapter 7 and verse 10, it says, Then she that is mine enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, Where is the Lord thy power? Mine eyes shall behold her. Now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the streets. Right, and that's going into the judgment upon you wicked ass Israelites. Okay, you females out here, riding the cock carousel, being complete whores, being unfaithful, adulterers, prideful, unbelieving. There's a recompense for that. There's a payment for that. And specifically, for you women out there that have been scoffing, that have been, treating the true prophets, the true men of the Lord, as just a random nigga in the street. No respect, no admiration, just complete treated like shit. The Most High Yahweh said that in that day, he referred to the Israelite woman as his enemy, and that she that is mine enemy shall see it, right? Because today the Israelite woman is exactly that, right? Is an enemy towards the man. You can read that in Deuteronomy 28. That was part of the curses. It talked about how the tender and delicate woman among you, which will not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon her ground for delicateness, her eyes shall be evil toward her husband and her bosom, right? So the modern day Israelite woman is not with you. She's against you as a collective. And it says, Mine eyes shall behold her, now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the streets. So in that day when everything falls down, that prideful woman is going to be ran down like the shit in the streets because she's not going to have any protection. And that's why, going into the topic of this video, the men of the Lord will be a rare commodity on this earth. Because when everything collapses, the modern man is gonna be going towards carnal solutions. He's gonna be looking to doomsday prep and YouTube videos on how to survive, and the first thing that comes to his mind, listening to the government, and ultimately all that is gonna fail him. The difference between the carnal man and the man of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is that the man of the Lord are going to have a completely stable mindset no matter what happens. And that's going to be what's truly valuable, is that calm mindset, that mindset, that mind frame of everything's gonna be okay, and actually believing it, right? That's something we're gonna be able to tell in those days is people that truly believe that they're gonna be okay, because there's gonna be people out here talking about, yeah, we're all good, but you're gonna be able to see in their eyes and see that it's just a facade. And if you're able to see it, imagine the woman, right? The woman that's known him from who knows how long. She's gonna know deep down inside of her, I'm fucked, right? I'm fucked. If my man who's stronger than me, who knows more than me, is completely just out of his wits, is completely through, then that means I'm toasted too, right? You saw that type of dynamic a lot in war, right? When the king would flee, the fighters, the warriors would also flee because the king, was supposed to be the strongest. So in that day, what's going to be valuable is protection, is a calm mindset, and ultimately guidance. And who would be better than a man that is being guided by the Most High? So let's read this in Isaiah chapter 4 and verse 1. It says, "And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, We will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach." Right? And that's talking about in this coming judgment, on this side here in Babylon the Great and worldwide. Okay, 7 women shall take hold of one man. Okay, that's called polygamy. And the reason they're going to be doing that is to take away their reproach, right? To take away, their wickedness, okay, the evil that they have done, okay, to have that protection from the man, reproach, resting upon condition of shame, right? Because they're going to be disgraced. They're going to be like, damn, I should have never been a whore, and I should have never done this, because they're going to realize that, hey, the Lord is real and that everything is actually going down. So once, word goes out that they could be saved through childbearing, that if they find a man of the Lord, they could actually make it out of here, that's when they're going to be flocking towards you brothers like, hey, you can't even imagine. And they're not going to come, asking a lot. They're going to say, hey, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Right? We're going to take care of ourselves. Just let us be called by thy name. Right? They want that protection. And ultimately being called by her name goes into having sex. Right? She's going to be your possession. So that's what's coming. And like I said, this is going to happen on this side, not in the kingdom. Because in the kingdom, there's not going to be any reason to take away their reproach, because we're not going to have any reproach. This is talking about in Jacob's trouble. Now, I asked I asked ChatGPT, what do the scriptures talk about? And it says, after mass destruction and war, especially the judgment of the daughters of Zion in Isaiah 3, many men will die. Right? And, that instantly makes me think, in 2nd Esdras, gotta search it up. It goes into that how many will die, in the right here, 2nd Esdras 16:34. In the war shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. Right, so a great judgment is coming upon the men. A lot of men are gonna die because they're gonna be drafted, and others for not being able to provide, and ultimately not being taken care of by the Most High. So many men will die. Women will be desperate to be called by a man's name to remove the reproach of being uncovered, symbolic of lacking a husband, protector, or spiritual covering. During Jacob's trouble, righteous men will be rare, and women will seek covering not for provision, but just to remove shame. This also symbolizes people wanting association with righteousness without true covenant commitment, right? And that's the point. The righteous men will be rare, and they're just going to want to remove that shame. So, this is prophesied and it is going to take place. You can see how slowly but surely you're having women realize that, this single independent boss bitch, mentality doesn't work for us. It's just kind of hard without a man. So, just wait. Isaiah 13 and 12. Let's read that one. And what is this talking about? The day of the Lord, the judgment day. Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. right? So the same concept. In that evil day, the Most High is going to make a man more precious than fine gold. That's how important a man of the Lord is. And the craziest thing is that we're not seen by the world, like that right now. But that's okay because deep down, we understand our true value. And, just that very understanding that who we are, knowing who you are in the spirit, it puts a confidence in you that even people look at you. People looked at me and told me, like, there's something about you that I can't put my finger on. I've never met somebody like you. You just have something about you. It's just different, right? That's the wisdom that is ultimately, coming off of me, coming off you brothers. So, right now we are precious. It's just that the world hasn't seen us in that limelight yet. But soon, we will have our day. We will have, that day. So let's see what ChatGPT here says. It says this is a prophecy of righteous rule, or no, here. God's coming judgment on Babylon, often interpreted prophetically as America, after destruction, faithful and upright men, especially Israelite men, refined by tribulation, will be incredibly rare and valuable. During the end times, true men of God, not worldly men, will be like fine gold, because they are few, refined by trial, spiritually rich. This also speaks to the exaltation of the righteous remnant after judgment. And that's exactly what I was going into. How soon, that natural order is going to come back and the man is going to be exalted. Let's read Isaiah 32 and 2. It says, and a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. So imagine that, a river of water in a dry place. That's a crazy analogy. A shadow of a great rock in a weary land. Right? You catching hella, heat, and you find a big rock to go under. It's a relief. That's what a man is going to be to, you women out here. It's going to be a relief that you finally have proper leadership, proper, mindset. Let's see what ChatGPT says. This is a prophecy of righteous rule pointing to messianic times or godly leadership rising. Now, the reason it's not talking about in the kingdom is because why would a man be as a hiding place from the wind going to the destruction? In the kingdom, we're not going to have destruction like that. We're all going to be safe. So this is obviously talking about before. It says, a righteous man, especially one led by the Spirit, will be like shelter, water, and shade in a harsh land. Prophetic insight. In the midst of Jacob's trouble and Babylon's fall, the righteous man will be a covering, guide, and refuge, both physically and spiritually, for others, especially for the women and children left behind. So, big picture. These scriptures are all connected, describing the aftermath of judgment on Babylon, America, the desperation of society, and the high value placed on righteous Israelite men during the time of Jacob's trouble. Men will be rare because many are judged or destroyed. Women will seek their name and covering, and the righteous man like gold and like a rock in the desert will be prized vessel in that day. So, there you have it, man. There you have it. The men of the Lord will soon be a prized vessel in that day. Hey, stay on point because this is going to take place. And those prophecies, they are not stopping. So hopefully this is edifying. With down to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashim, Yahushai Ba'ashim, Rakakwadash, and double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Shalom to you, like Shalom.